Hi guys, my name's Josh Bull and I'm the head coach here at Emporium Gym in Birmingham. I'm going to be talking to you today about Muscle Mend. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not an influencer, so hopefully you can believe at least some of what I tell you. But I do work with a really wide variety of clients, ranging from just normal people looking to get in shape, build a better physique, right the way up through to professional athletes. So I have a lot of experience working with people that are doing a lot of weight training, a high volume of work, and obviously anyone that's doing those things for long enough at a high enough intensity is prone to pick up the odd aches and pains here and then. And I have found this to be a really effective tool in helping fix people working under me, help them fix their issues and move forward with their training. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is purely what injuries this is useful for, the mechanisms of action, so what's in it and how it works, and then how you can use it to fix your injuries. Okay, so the biggest plus point I find for this is that it's what's called a topical treatment, which means you apply it directly to the area where you've got an injury, rather than just ingesting it orally and then having a systemic reduction in inflammation. Okay, so on that inflammation point, the majority of issues that you'll pick up if you're doing a lot of weight training tend to be tendinopathy-based problems, which is essentially inflammation of your tendons, and you'll also tend to pick up other connective tissue problems. Okay, most of them basically come from temporarily exceeding or long-term exceeding the work capacity of those connective tissues. So what this allows you to do is reduce the amount of pain and inflammation in those tissues, and it gives you a window of time in order to fix that problem, okay? It's not just a band-aid treatment where you're gonna stick it on once and it's gonna just fix it forever, but what you can do is you will use it before you do your rehab work to reduce the pain and allow you to work on bringing up the work capacity of those connective tissues, okay? Because essentially, if you remember, the cause of those tendinopathy-based problems is a workload that exceeds the work capacity of those tendons or connective tissues. So what we want to be able to do is reduce pain long enough in those connective tissues to improve their work capacity. Okay, so it essentially gives you a window of time to perform your rehab work without pain limiting you. Okay, so feeding off the back of that, this gives you a massive advantage over other systems of reducing inflammation that are just taken orally. So something like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen or really high doses of antioxidants. Those will both reduce pain in the affected area, but they'll also reduce the amount of systemic inflammation, which sounds like a good thing, but inflammation is one of the key areas of stimulus or providers of stimulus for muscle growth. Okay, if you reduce the amount of inflammation that you have got and you're taking something like ibuprofen or high doses of antioxidants, you will tend to reduce your response to training. So you'll tend to see a slower growth in muscle mass, slower growth in strength, okay? And if you're an athlete or someone looking to get in shape, you don't want to be taking a step back in terms of results you're able to get whilst rehabbing one small part of your body, okay? So, feeding on from that, there are three mechanisms of action for Muscle Mend. First one is it has an analgesic effect, which basically means it reduces pain, and that's what's going to allow you that window of time to perform your rehab work. Secondarily, it reduces inflammation. That one's pretty obvious, but it just reduces that inflammatory response within those tissues, especially once it's become chronic. That's what gives you a lot of the problems you'll see if you're lifting weights. And then thirdly, it contains ingredients that improve the transport of the topical application from the epidermis, so that's the sort of layer of skin, down into the capillaries of the dermis. So it basically improves transport from the surface of the skin down into the deeper tissues, okay? Now, obviously that's going to be limited in how far the product can travel. You need to be using this mainly for injuries that are relatively close to the skin. So, you know, around your elbows, tendons, knees. You probably wouldn't use it to fix an issue that's deep inside your hip joint, okay? It needs to be close enough to the skin for the topical application to reach, okay? You could also use it for muscular strains, DOMs, that type of thing. Within a weight training application, I personally don't tend to use it that much for that, because if you're getting your training systems correct, your DOMs shouldn't be affecting your quality of life, you shouldn't be tearing muscles left, right and centre. But in a more sports performance setting, that minimisation of DOMs and also that slightly improved healing rate for stuff like muscular strains would also be a really useful effect. Hope you found that useful, guys. Thank you.